Listen to the winds that sweep across Japan's archipelago. Hear the ceaseless waves that crash against its shores. Watch the clouds as they gather, heavy with rain, veiling the mountains in shifting shadows. Within these elements lies a presence older than temples, older than emperors, a force that terrifies and sustains, destroys, and protects. This is the world of Susanoo no Mikoto, the storm god, the unruly son of creation, the exile, the serpent slayer, the protector of fields and fishermen. His story is one of contradictions. He's chaos and savior, trickster and hero, destroyer and guardian. And through his story, we glimpse not only the essence of Shinto belief, but the enduring truth of humanity's struggle with nature itself. Japan's landscape is one of restless beauty. Volcanoes rise like gods themselves. Rivers cut valleys deep into the earth, and the sea stretches endlessly, both barrier and lifeline. For the ancient people of these islands, survival depended on a delicate balance. Harvests timed with the rains, voyages planned around the moods of the sea, homes built with the ever-present memory of storms and quakes. To live in such a land was to live in constant dialogue with nature. And from that dialogue arose the kami, the spirits, the gods, expressions of natural forces that were not abstract but immediate, personal, and alive. Among them, Susanoo no Mikoto stands out. He is not the calm radiance of the sun goddess Amaterasu, nor the distant stillness of the moon god Tsukuyomi. He is the whirlwind, the sudden tempest, the force that cannot be predicted. He embodies the truth that nature is not always gentle, and yet it is indispensable. In myths, Susanoo is described as tempestuous, quick to anger, often reckless. But these qualities are not merely flaws. They are reflections of the world his worshippers knew. Storms could devastate fields, flatten villages, sink ships, and claim lives without warning. Yet the same storms brought the rains that nourished the rice paddies, the winds that cleared the air, the waters that replenished rivers. To honor Susanoo was to honor both danger and sustenance, chaos and renewal. This duality lies at the heart of Shinto. Unlike belief systems that divide the world into strict opposites, good and evil, light and darkness, Shinto embraces ambiguity. Chaos is not the enemy of order, but its counterpart, necessary for balance. Susanoo, born of wind and storm, embodies that truth. The earliest texts of Japanese myth, the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki, place Susanoo's origin in a moment of cleansing. When Izanagi, the great creator, returned from Yomi, the land of the dead, he sought to purify himself. Washing his face, he brought forth 3 children. From his left eye came Amaterasu, radiant goddess of the sun. From his right, Tsukuyomi, serene god of the moon. And from his nose came Susanoo, stormbringer, restless and wild. His very birth carried meaning. Amaterasu represents clarity, order, and continuity. Susanoo, by contrast, was born not of light, but of breath. A force expelled, uncontrollable, raw. It was a reminder that creation is not only serene but violent, not only luminous, but storm-ridden. From this act, Susanoo inherited his role, a god destined to challenge the boundaries of order. Yet Susanoo is not simply destruction. He is a figure of contradictions. Myths describe him as weeping uncontrollably, his sorrow shaking the mountains and drying rivers. His tears carried as much weight as his tempests, for they reflected a depth of feeling that could not be ignored. Unlike distant gods of the heavens, Susanoo was close to the people. his moods echoing the unpredictable patterns of weather itself. The Japanese people did not turn away from this volatility. They revered it, feared it, and sought to harmonize with it. Festivals were held in his honor, rituals performed to calm his storms and invite his protection. In this way, Susanoo became a bridge, a god who reflected the chaos of the world, but also the possibility of order hidden within it. Even today, shrines dedicated to Susanoo remind us of this duality. Kyoto's Yasaka Shrine, one of the most celebrated in his honor, hosts grand festivals where music, dance, and ritual processions fill the streets. These events are not mere spectacles. They are living echoes of ancient practices, moments where chaos is acknowledged, embraced, and transformed into collective joy. Through these traditions, Susanoo is not remembered only as a storm god, but as a protector, a guardian against misfortune, disease, and calamity. In his story, we see the resilience of humanity, the ability to face danger, to transform fear into ritual, and to find balance between the uncontrollable and the ordered. As we step into the stories of Susanoo no Mikoto, we are not entering a simple tale of gods and monsters. We are entering a reflection of life itself, where chaos and order dance endlessly, where destruction and creation are inseparable, and where even the fiercest storm carries the promise of renewal. This is the world of Susanoo, and this is where our journey begins. Susanoo's story begins with his father, Izanagi, the creator god who shaped the islands of Japan alongside his wife, Izanami. When Izanami died and descended into Yomi, the land of the dead, Izanagi sought to retrieve her. What he witnessed in that realm filled him with grief and horror. Upon returning to the world of the living, he performed a ritual cleansing to wash away the impurity of death. From this act of purification were born 3 children. Amaterasu, goddess of the sun, emerged from his left eye. Tsukuyomi, the moon god, from his right, and from his nose came Susanoo. This birth was not random. It carried symbolic weight. Amaterasu represents order and radiance. Tsukuyomi reflects calm and balance. Susanoo, however, emerged from an act of violent expulsion. The breath of a sneeze, the uncontrolled rush of wind. His nature, from the very beginning, was tied to forces that cannot be contained. Wind and storms are his essence. They scatter, uproot, destroy. But they also carry seeds, bring rain, and renew the land. To understand Susanoo, one must see him not as an enemy of order, but as its necessary companion. From the start, Susanoo's presence clashed with the heavenly order maintained by his sister, Amaterasu. Myths recount his refusal to accept his appointed role as ruler of the seas. Instead, he raged, howled, and wept with such intensity that the mountains withered, rivers ran dry, and the earth quaked under his grief and defiance. When summoned before Amaterasu, he declared his loyalty. To prove it, they engaged in a sacred ritual, birthing new gods from exchanged objects of power. Yet what followed revealed Susanoo's untamable nature. He rampaged through the celestial fields, tore down rice paddies, hurled excrement into sacred halls, and committed the ultimate sacrilege, hurling the flayed body of a horse into Amaterasu's weaving hall. Horrified and enraged, Amaterasu withdrew into a cave, plunging the world into eternal night. Crops failed, rivers dried, and chaos reigned until the other gods lured her out with music, dance, and laughter. In this myth lies a profound truth. Chaos and disorder can force creativity, inspiring collective action to restore balance. Without Susanoo's disruptions, there would have been no opportunity for renewal. For his transgressions, Susanoo was cast out of heaven. Yet exile was not the end of his story. It was the beginning of transformation. Descending into Izumo, a region of fertile valleys and winding rivers, he confronted challenges that tested his destructive energy and reshaped it into protective power. It is here that he encountered one of the most terrifying creatures in Japanese mythology, the Yamata-no-Orochi, a serpent with 8 heads and 8 tails, so vast its body stretched across mountains and rivers. The tale begins with an elderly couple grieving the impending sacrifice of their last daughter, Kushinada-hime. Each year, one of their daughters had been devoured by the Orochi. And now, the cycle had come to its cruel end. Susanoo, arriving as a banished god, saw an opportunity. He promised to defeat the monster in exchange for Kushinada's hand in marriage. Transforming the maiden into a comb, he placed her safely in his hair. Then, with clever foresight, he instructed the couple to brew vats of potent sake. One by one, the serpent's heads drank deeply of the intoxicating brew. Sluggish and weakened, the Orochi fell into a stupor. With precise strikes, Susanoo severed each head. When his blade struck the tail, it hit something unyielding. Cutting deeper, he uncovered the divine sword, Kusanagi no Tsurugi, a treasure destined to become one of Japan's imperial regalia. This was no ordinary victory. It revealed Susanoo as more than a destroyer. He was cunning, strategic, and capable of turning chaos into salvation. With Kushinada-hime, Susanoo established roots in Izumo, and his once turbulent energy softened into protective power. Their union symbolizes the reconciliation of chaos and order. The wild storm tamed, yet never extinguished, redirected toward life and fertility. Local traditions celebrate Susanoo as a god of agriculture, fertility, and even healing. Shrines dedicated to him often associate his blessings with protection against disease and disaster. This transformation in his mythology shows how communities reframed his tempestuous spirit into a source of security and renewal. Across Japan, Susanoo became a god of everyday life. For fishermen, he was the one who could calm or stir the sea. For farmers, he controlled the rain upon which rice cultivation depended. For healers and priests, he was invoked to ward off plagues and epidemics. Festivals in his honor, such as those held at Yasaka Shrine in Kyoto, transformed myth into ritual. Processions, music, and dance became ways of inviting his presence, ensuring protection against storms and securing fertility for the coming year. In these festivals, the people did not deny chaos. They celebrated it, channeling its energy into blessings. Susanoo's influence reaches into art, theater, and literature. In medieval scrolls, he is a warrior with wind-whipped hair, wielding swords of divine brilliance. In No and Kabuki plays, he is portrayed as both wild and heroic, a trickster and a savior. Even in modern manga, anime, and video games, his archetype persists. The storm god who embodies both chaos and protection, inspiring awe across generations. Across cultures, Susanoo finds kinship with other storm and sea gods. Like Thor, he wields destructive storms. Like Poseidon, he rules the seas. Like Indra, he battles serpentine monsters of chaos. Yet what makes Susanoo unique is Japan's emphasis on balance and reconciliation. His chaos is not senseless wrath. It is purposeful, forcing growth, adaptation, and renewal. This perspective reflects the Japanese relationship with nature. Typhoons, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions shaped life on the islands. Chaos was not an anomaly to be destroyed. It was a constant, a force to be understood, respected, and transformed. Susanoo's myths are not just stories of a distant god. They are lessons. They remind us that chaos and disorder are inevitable forces in life. Yet within them lie opportunities for courage, for ingenuity, for transformation. When Amaterasu hid in the cave, the gods responded with creativity. When the Orochi threatened a family, Susanoo responded with strategy and cunning. When communities faced the dangers of storm and sea, they turned to ritual and celebration. In each case, chaos was not erased but transformed. Susanoo no Mikoto endures as a symbol of duality, a god of storms and seas, of chaos and renewal, of wrath and protection. His journey from a disruptive presence in heaven to a heroic savior on earth reveals that even the most turbulent forces can serve the greater good. Through his myths, we learn that storms do not only destroy, they cleanse, renew, and prepare the world for growth. Susanoo teaches us that chaos is not merely to be feared, but to be acknowledged, respected, and ultimately harnessed. In celebrating Susanoo, we honor the truth that destruction and creation are inseparable, that order and disorder are partners, and that from the fiercest storms can arise the most enduring strength. If this journey into the myth of Susanoo no Mikoto captivated you, subscribe to join us for more explorations of Japan's rich mythology and cultural history. Share your thoughts below. Which aspect of Susanoo speaks to you most? The storm, the protector, or the hero? And remember, like the winds he commands, chaos can bring both fear and renewal.